All right, welcome back. We are diving straight into part 2 of the business environment. This is where we break down all the forces that can make or break a company and really get you prepped for your exams. Let's get right to it. So, have you ever wondered about this? Why does one coffee shop on the corner become a local hit, while another, just a block away, shuts down in 6 months? What's the real difference? Well, it almost always comes down to how well they get and react to their environment.
See, here's the thing. No business exists in a vacuum. They're all being pushed and pulled by a whole mix of forces, some from the inside, some from the outside. The real secret to success is figuring out which ones you can control and which ones you just have to navigate. And that is the absolute core of what we're unpacking today.
So, here's our game plan. First, we'll look inside the business at the stuff they can actually control. Then, we're going to step outside and explore those bigger, wilder forces they have to deal with. And of course, we'll wrap it all up with a super fast recap to make sure it all sticks. Let's do it.
First up, let's talk about the internal environment. You can think of this as the business's own house, right? It's their own home turf, the place where the management team's in the driver's seat and can actually shape what happens. Let's begin with the most basic thing of all, capital, money. This is literally the financial lifeblood of any company. It's the fuel for everything they do, from making a product to telling people about it. Without capital, the engine just doesn't start.
And how a business manages that cash is a huge internal factor. It's what lets them actually produce things, run ads, hire great people, and eventually grow bigger. You know, good money management is just a non-negotiable for success.
Okay, next up, the people. Your employees. These folks are the real strength, the backbone of the entire operation. The quality of your stuff, your customer service, your bright new ideas, it all flows directly from the people you have on your team.
And that's exactly why human resources is so critical. Having a team that's skilled and fired up isn't just a nice to have. It's a massive competitive advantage that you built from the inside out.
So you've got money and you've got people, but where's everybody going? That's where management policies come into play. Just think of them as the company's rulebook or its GPS. The leaders set these policies to make sure everyone is heading in the same direction and making smart choices along the way.
Now, brand image feels like something that exists out there, but really, it's built from the inside. A powerful brand is what you get when you consistently deliver great quality, offer amazing service, and make your customers happy, all things a business can absolutely control.
And how do people even hear about you in the first place? Promotion. Whether a company decides to run big TV ads, use social media influencers, or offer crazy discounts, these are all internal decisions, strategic choices they make to get seen and stand out.
And finally, let's talk about the vibe inside the company, the work environment. A positive, supportive culture where people feel safe and happy. Well, that leads to employees who are way more productive and engaged, which, surprise, surprise, leads to a better business.
Okay, we've covered the home turf. Now, let's step outside into the unpredictable arena of the external environment. These are the powerful forces that a business has zero control over, but they absolutely must understand them to survive and thrive. And right here, this is a super important distinction, especially for your exams. Internal factors are the choices the business makes. External factors are the conditions the world imposes on the business. Getting this difference is absolutely key.
Let's start with the biggest one of all, the economic environment. This one has a huge and direct impact. We're talking about things like how much money people have to spend, how fast prices are rising, that's inflation, and just the general financial health of the country.
And a perfect textbook example of this is India's 1991 LPG reforms. Exam alert on this one. Liberalization, privatization, and globalization completely rewrote the rules for business in India. It opened the doors to way more competition and connected the country to the global economy like never before.
Next up, the social environment. This is all about the society's culture, its traditions, its values, and its lifestyle. Any business that isn't paying attention to social trends and how they're changing is taking a huge risk of becoming totally irrelevant. And here's some fantastic examples to make it real. The cultural shift towards fast food, that created a golden opportunity for brands like McDonald's. A societal push for girls' education, boom, demand for notebooks and pens goes up. These aren't business choices, they're waves of social change that smart businesses learn to ride. All right, let's talk politics. The political environment, so how stable is the government? What are its core beliefs? What policies is it pushing? All of this creates the landscape businesses operate in. A stable political climate usually means predictable rules and confident investors. Instability, on the other hand, means risk.
And tied right into that is the legal environment. This is the nitty-gritty framework of laws and regulations that every single business must follow. We're talking about everything from labor laws to taxes to safety standards. You don't get to ignore these. The penalties are serious.
And finally, we have the technological environment. Technology is just a relentless force for change, isn't it? It's always creating new ways to make things, new ways to sell them, and even entirely new products. I mean, just think about how e-ticketing for trains and flights basically made those old physical ticket counters disappear. It's simple. You adapt or you vanish.
Wow, we have covered a ton of ground. So before we wrap up, let's do a really quick-fire recap to pull all these ideas together and lock them in for your exam.
All right, ready? Let's go. Internal, the stuff you control inside. Economic, it's all about the money, income, and those big LPG reforms. Social, think culture, trends, and values. Political, that's the government and its stability. Legal, the laws and rules you have to follow, no exceptions. And technological, the innovation that's always changing the game. Got it? So now that you can spot all these different forces, the big question is, what's next? How does a business actually use this information to build a strategy that wins? To find out how, continue to part 3. Stay tuned.